Hello everyone, I am Vikrant, co-founder of Batx Energies, and we are a recycling company and building something in terms of sustainability.
Vikrant, help me understand the reason behind the birth of Batx. What made you become an entrepreneur and start Batx?
The story of Batx started in college itself. When we were doing engineering in the college. I and my co-founder Kush, we studied from Punjab University, which is a Hero Group college. And luckily, I was more passionate about the mechanical engineering because from childhood I was loving the mechanical because of my background business. So my home background business was into the food business. There we produced the unflavored chips from potatoes and selling it to the Lays, right? And they were doing the
Oh,
flavoring. So
wow.
there was a lot of chemical processing, the oils, the boilers, right? So I have a very good sense of mechanical engineering, and I always wanted to do a mechanical engineering. So I got an
How,
admission
how
in.
big is your family business? Is it like less than 100 crore turnover, more than 100 crore?
It's less than 100 crores, definitely.
ठीक है,
It's a
ठीक है.
contract manufacturing from that.
Okay. But
And
it would be a SME, basically.
yeah, it's
All
a
small
SME actually.
manufacturing.
Yeah, it's
Ah,
a
ठीक
small
है.
scale
Okay.
manufacturing.
हाँ.
From there, got a sense of the mechanical things, right? Because I never wanted to go on the side of computer engineering. I never understood also. I cannot do coding even today's date also. I cannot understand the coding and the virtual things. So the things which I can sense or the things which I can just touch. So I wanted to go on that side, and mechanical engineering was the best option to go on that side. So the story started from the college because college was very new. It was started. So my co-founder Utkarsh was the very first batch from that college because the college was founded in 2014, and then I was from the second batch 2015. So he's 1 year senior to me, and there's a lot of opportunities there because there was no club, there was no a society which we were building as a college student. So in college time, I was having a dream that I will start a club which will build the vehicles. There are a lot of competitions which happens. You build your vehicle, go to the different college competition in the racing track or something. So the good part, which we talk about the changing moment, was that in 2016 the Indian EV industry was changing from gasoline to EV industry. So there was an event which is called e-cart. So e-cart means you have to build small electric vehicles and you have to participate with different teams it's called a big event. So we started building that. We built the automobile club in the college. I was the president of the college in the automobile club. And then we started from the scratch that how to build the vehicles. And while building the vehicles, we realized that we need a battery. I was not knowing that until that time, I was not knowing that what is lithium-ion battery exactly. So our team was, we researched and we found that there is a lithium-ion battery which will be used into the electric vehicle to do that competition. And then I asked Utkarsh that because he is always on the management side, that time also, today date also. And I was always in the technical side, building the vehicles, technology, and maybe the design part of it. I asked Utkarsh that I want a battery, which is maybe 40 kWh, or these are the specifications, and can you get it to me? So he said, okay, let me check. I will get back to you maybe after 2 days. After 2, 3 days, he came back to me and he's saying that, bro, this battery is not being there built in India. It is not available in India. So that was the point of time that how others are doing it. So we then do a little bit more research. And we found that this battery is imported from 100% batteries are imported from different countries, especially China and Korea. Then we said how we will do an event, and the battery was very expensive also. The total budget of that vehicle was 8 lakhs and the battery cost was around 5.5 lakhs. So we said we will not participate because it will not be possible because this is a challenge. And then then college we presented to the college that we are going to purchase this battery, and they supported. They also imported the battery from Korea. After importing the battery from Korea, the event is over. And this one thing is being intrigued us that why this battery is not being built in India? What is the thing that which we don't have and even the whole India don't manufacture it? That was the turning point of shifting ourselves especially EV industry, maybe not in recycling, but at least we got into the lithium and batteries, that why these batteries are being there, what are the materials which we use, what are the reasons behind that batteries are not being manufactured in India. And then we approached the professors that, sir, we want to build a battery in India. That is our main project which we want to do. So they are like, you can't do this project because we don't have infrastructure, we don't have the technology, we don't have even the literature and kind of experience for the faculties also which we can train you on the lithium ion batteries. So I and Utkarsh themselves started studying about the batteries. And the battery which we have imported, we actually tiered that battery. So after second semester, I mean, I was in second year of my college. It's fourth semester. So there's a holidays of 2 months. So we didn't go to home. We said we will decide in the college and we will tier that battery and we will check that what they have used in the battery. So I mean that battery was definitely a flammable battery. We were not knowing about the safety, but we tiered the battery, we take out the cells and the components of the battery. And then we said that there is something which is called lithium-ion cell, which is like a pencil cell. And multiple pencil cells are being used in that battery, along with that some electronic circuit. So we said, there is nothing in the battery. I mean, there are some pencil cells and they are assembled together. What is the point that? So then we started that, okay, I mean, this is something which we can do something about it. Uh, the college has been, the holidays has been over, and then we again started from the college. College, because this is a Hero Group college, so Hero had built a very high-end lab inside the college for the research of Hero motorcycles. And later their R&D shifted to Jaipur, where still the lab is being there, which is called uh, it is called CMD laboratory. It's a nanomaterials, research laboratory where a lot of PhD holders and a lot of research engineers are working on a practical sciences, not on to the only the theoretical. I got very amazed about that laboratory and started working with few professors. And slowly, I mean, I asked one professor. So there was a professor called Sanvitra Burman and Amia Das or maybe some other. So there are 4 or 5 professors I collected. I started working with them. I said that I want to build a set. I worked maybe 2 years in that laboratory, learned each and everything, whatever the lab is having. The scanning electron microscopy, the Raman spectroscopy, XRD, and different things. These are very high-end equipments where you need PhD holders to run that system. Actually, if you want to see a nanomaterial, a very small, where you cannot see with the naked eyes, there are certain machines, there are certain equipment where you can see that. So then I got an understanding that in 8th semester in my college, you have to do for internship for 6 months. So I took that I will build the cells in the college. I mean, we have taken the project. There are 3 professors who are mentoring that system to build the cells. And then we realized that we don't have a materials like cobalt, lithium, and nickel. So these 3 are the primary materials to build any cell. So we ordered from China because 90% is material held by China, and China only produces these materials. It took 6 months, 7 months. The thesis or the semester is yet to over. So I mean, I was having an idea. Let's break the old cells and I will take out the material from that and then I will do my project. Because that was something where we were stucking about the project because we don't have the materials. So I asked Utkarsh that again that I want a cells. So he brought some cells that okay, this is the you will be needing. So we brought the laptop cells. So the pencil cells you use into the laptop battery. We tiered it off and then we started research about how to get out the material from this. And then after research of around 5 months more, we realized that this is a very big domain. And we were not knowing about the market at that point of time. It's only about the enthusiast about completing the project, solving a problem. We were never, I mean, we have never thought about building a company at that particular time. It was just a project. It was just a problem solving. I mean, I was having one more company in the college time, which is called Batx India Private Limited. So my co-founder was professor itself. So we were earning some money from them and then, utilizing into the projects. And then we realized that, okay, what we can do is the battery which we have cleared out, we said that we will bring out the cells from China. We will assemble it here. We will put our electronic circuit and sell the batteries. So after stepping out of college, I mean, the last day or maybe the 3, 4 days back. So Loham I mean, so there's some connect I was not having. I mean, accidentally I got a call that, do you want to like join a loan? I said, okay. Next day I packed a bag and
Loham, for people who don't know what is Loham, Loham is, I think, setting up India's first lithium-ion battery manufacturing plant, or they have already set up. Like, it's a
I mean,
pioneer
they've
in
already,
lithium battery.
yes,
Mm,
yes. I mean, they are into the lithium battery manufacturing and recycling.
mm,
And I mean, you can say that when I joined, there were only few people, minus 4 to 5 people.
mm,
And it was just starting of the era in the country. I mean, no one was expert about this field. No one knows about what is being done into this startup.
mm,
And
mm,
just we were like talking about that there is recycling or there's the lithium and battery manufacturing, which will be happening in India. And we started building, from the scratch, doing the research. And in college time, I mean, we were already doing the startup iron course or already building the batteries. So we sold some batteries when we were in college, assembling the battery, then selling it to the market. So we were having a sense of the system, but then we realized that you cannot do a business if you don't have experience. And we were very good about the battery, and you need to understand about the compliances, regulations, you can say the technology, the commercialization, the unit economics, the prototyping, how it will be done, and what is the market fit. That is something which we were not knowing completely. And the good part is our college was having very good courses, not only the technicals, half of the courses was from the like entrepreneurship, innovation and entrepreneurship, right? Uh, CRST, critical reasoning, thinking and analysis. You can say the courses which selling negotiation persuading skills. Still, I remember the course's name.
mm.
I mean, in my mechanical engineering, business understanding. So I was more understanding about these things also, irrespective of the technology. In college
So,
time, we built around a lot of vehicles to
okay, okay,
get that.
okay. At Loham, what was your role? What were you hired for? This was like a campus placement.
I mean, it was not a campus placement. It was like
You
just
reached out to
we
them
got a call
through
and
your
just
network.
I joined
Okay,
the
okay.
network.
Mm.
And I joined, and at that point of there was no position. I mean, because there is only 4 or 5 people, you have to do everything. You have to find a
Loham
factory.
was
Even
at
that,
what scale when you joined? How big were
I
they?
mean, it was very small. It was like a small home. Factory was like a
Okay.
small, home. I
And
mean,
they were
just
focused on
having 2 rooms.
recycling lithium ion batteries.
That time, the focus was around the battery manufacturing because recycling was still
Manufacturing.
too far from that.
Okay. Okay.
So that
But today,
time,
I think they're largely known as a recycler, right? That's the
yes,
bigger business.
recycling and refining company,
Recycling and
refining material
refining.
refining company.
Acha, what is refined? So you're saying that
Uh,
when you recycle a battery, you extract some material and then you refine it.
for example, refining is something we don't have a virgin material in our country like nickel. So these materials are found in earth crust, okay, like ore. And these materials are available with very specific country like Indonesia, Chile, Australia. So India don't have the refining capabilities also. For example, if we import the ore, so from ore you have like a mud, right? And from in the mud you have nickel also, you have cobalt also, you have some impurities. So I mean that is something which is now the companies are building in India where they're building the capabilities of refining of these materials so that we can bring out the ore that mud from different countries and we can refine the quality material here and we can utilize into the batteries. That's how the
Okay, okay,
supply
okay.
chain is being.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today Loham does these two things. They refine ore. So
Yes.
they import ore, refine it, and then they sell it to, let's say, maybe a Log9 would be their
Yes, yes,
customer, or
yes, yes. Yeah, I
these
mean,
battery
not Log9,
manufacturers.
maybe the long giants. I don't know. I mean, but it's a big industry where this material
Hmm.
commodity because it's a commodity product, right? It's an
Acha,
international
okay.
commodity product.
Okay.
It
Okay.
is
Okay.
linked
Okay.
with LME, London Metal Exchange, or maybe the fast market
Okay.
exchange. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I mean,
A-
I worked with 1 year
And
there,
the
learned a
other
lot of
line of
things.
business for them today is recycling a battery. What happens when you recycle a battery?
I mean, when you recycle the batteries, so there are a lot of minerals inside the battery. So you can say like this is the gold which is being utilized into the batteries.
Like
I mean,
nickel, lithium ion.
like
These are.
nickel, lithium, cobalt,
Hmm.
manganese, copper,
Hmm.
aluminum.
Okay.
So these
Okay.
are the metals. I mean, these 3 metals are referred as the precious materials. This is called,
Hmm.
the critical materials. Their supply is not much in the world. I mean, they're limited. Their
Rare
supply is not
earths,
abundant.
basically, rare earth metals.
Rare earth are very different. I mean, from
Okay.
after critical, it comes rare earth, like
Okay.
neodymium, molybdenum, sodium,
Okay.
titanium. I
Okay.
mean, the material which are used in your, you can say, exhaust pipe. I mean,
EV
in your
motors.
cars, yeah,
Yeah.
e-waters.
Okay.
There are some other things also where these materials are used, like magnets. Only one or two companies are having the supply chain of that. So
Mm,
that's why in the
mm.
country we are still not manufacturing EV motors. We are still importing those motors from different countries.
Okay. 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 And what kind of batteries are recycled? Like a laptop battery is also recycled, phone and laptop, or is it like EV batteries, like vehicle batteries?
I mean, any kind of battery. I mean, it should refer to the lithium-ion battery. I mean, in your
But what
I,
is commercially viable? Well, yeah,
anything.
like
I
you
mean,
said, your
everything.
your headphones also have that. Is that commercially viable to recycle a
Yes,
headphone?
absolutely. I mean, we are mixing everything
Okay.
together. Any
Okay.
lithium-ion battery, for example, in your phone, you carry 7 grams of cobalt with you. You
Okay.
carry around 2 grams of lithium carbonate with you. You
Okay.
carry around 3.5 grams of nickel with you. That means you
Mm,
can imagine not only the, I'm not only talking about EVs, just we are talking about mobile phones and laptops. That means the photo electronics market.
mm.
Without energy storage, I mean, without lithium and battery, the portable device is not possible. Right? So, I
Right.
mean, you can understand the scale and the material which is hidden inside the batteries. So,
Mm,
once we import these batteries, the company like us understand that this is a asset which is lying down in the country. There's a lot of minerals, which is called urban mining. So basically, this recycling we have referred as the urban mining. They're mining
mm.
from the urban areas actually, in the form of phones or the batteries, and then recycling it up. So these materials are very costly. They are not available in India. So our job is to extract these materials from it and then supply it to the Indian manufacturer so that the cost of EVs can be reduced down. I mean, the
Okay.
electric vehicles are coming in the future.
Okay. Okay. So coming back to Loham, what did you do there? You spent a year there. What did you do in that 1 year?
I spent a year. I worked little bit into terms of the documentation side, little work on the technology building side, little work on you can say a factory building side because we have taken that factory, a new factory at that particular time, and then research about the new machinery, the equipments, how to build a team. I mean, we have hired some people, build a good team. I mean, leadership, understanding the commercialization. So there is a term called techno-commercial person. So in today's date, especially in deep tech startups, you need to be a techno-commercial person. So I understand about these things, the ecosystem of this industry, the market about these things. I mean, how the system works from scratch to building something, prototyping. I mean, the idea starts from I joined the loan and there was an ideation. Then ideation, there's a concept phase. After concept, there's a prototyping. After prototyping, you have a commercial stage. So the stages of building a startup. So that I learned, and the co-founder of that company was really a good mentor. He taught a lot of things in different fields because that person is from Stanford, Harvard, from IT Kanpur, and worked 10 years in US. So the mindset which we are having is something which is like a very optimism. I mean, optimistic, cost effective, and very patient. I mean, that time I was thinking that what is being happening in this? I don't think any how we will. But he was having so much of perseverance. I mean, that is something which I learned that you need to be very much confident about what you are doing. Just things, I mean, don't take place in a single day. It takes a lot of time, and there will be a lot of hurdles. So I learned from them. I mean, and still I respect. He has given me a chance to work there to understand the market and how to build a startup.
So what did you start off when you decided to start on your own? Like, what was the business plan
I
that
mean,
you had in mind? And,
you can say that I and Utkarsh already we in the while we left the college, we were running a small company, and then we realized that we have to. Utkarsh joined a company as a CSR division in Hero Group itself. So he was looking after the CSR program. So he was up the management side, how to handle team investments, everything. And then we thought that we will work 1 year and then we will come back. And I mean, it was a date that we exactly worked for 1 year. I exactly worked for 1 year. And then we joined hands. We said that, okay, we will build the batteries. And because recycling was something where you need to do a research. So we thought that where we will build the money was completely bootstrap at that particular time. And our company started, I mean, I passed out in 2019. I worked in Loham in 2019, 2020. We registered our company 7 July 2020. And after that, we were building the batteries, selling it to the e-rickshaws and two-wheelers. And the money which we were saving, we were putting it to the R&D for the recycling extraction material. So we were incubated in Munjal University itself for that lab. So we were having access of that lab, and our employees. I mean, we were having 2 employees, and I there were 4 people, and living in the college hostel in the same college. So from hostels we were working, and in completely 1 year from 2020 to 2021, we worked completely out of our college, and we have taken a small factory nearby our college where we were building the batteries. So that's how two domains were running parallelly at that particular time. One was building the batteries at outside the college, which we were in a small factory. And second was the research in the laboratory, which were running to extract these materials from the batteries. And because it's a very, very deep science, it's a very, very, you can say, complex process to develop it because it's a material refining. And material refining, you don't have infrastructure, you don't have people, you don't have the understanding of the material. So that was the little tough challenge for us that particular time.
You wanted to be a battery manufacturer when you started off. What was the business plan when you started?
I mean, the business plan was the recycling, but to support that, the battery manufacturing was a good option. I mean, to actually, at that time, we are trying to do both things.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
in the business model, there, I mean, by doing the business, we were thinking that we will run the battery business also and we will recycle because it is interlinked together.
Right.
So,
What you extract from recycling can be the raw
and
material for battery manufacturing.
And good part was that we were telling to the e-rickshaw manufacturers or the sellers that we selling them, but they will take your battery back with some value.
Hmm. Okay.
So at that time,
Okay,
there
okay,
was
okay.
no
So
value which,
recycling also makes sense because for your customers, then you are offering a resale option, a buyback option to your customers. Okay, okay, okay. Interesting.
so
But nobody has done this, right? People are either
no.
recyclers or they're battery manufacturers. Why is that? Is it a very hard problem to do both?
Uh,
Needs a lot of capital or what?
I mean, that time, I mean, this was just a new, I mean, recycling was a very new, I mean, no one was doing it that recycling business can be done in India, especially in lithium and battery recycling. Battery manufacture, there are a lot of people who are manufacturing the batteries. I mean, it's called assembly, it's not manufacturing. I mean, there were around 20 to 25 companies in Delhi itself which were doing the same things. But our part was like we were not bringing out new cells from China. The batteries which were coming from laptops, we were segregating the good cells from those scrap cells and building the batteries. So we
Okay.
were not using new batteries. That was the difference in our company and maybe some other company. So I mean, we were collecting a lot of batteries from Nehru Place because it's a good hub for repairing work and everything. There is some place in Bangalore also. We were collecting the batteries, and then we were getting these batteries inside the factory, dismantling them out manually, getting each cells out, testing it up, and then segregating those cells, building a new batteries. I mean, that was something which we were doing because recycling. I mean, before 2016, these all batteries were exported to China, so they were the manufacturers also, and they were the recyclers also. So after 2016, China banned to accept any kind of scrap from any other country or the certain regions because of the political or maybe their regulations. Then this whole, the volume of these batteries is increasing day by day because there is no company which was taking them back from any other country. And that we done a market research and we found this the scrap is huge. Only the challenge is the collection. So supply chain, which is called backward supply chain. I mean, that is something which was a really a tough thing because in India, still in today's date, 80% the scrap market is being organized by the unorganized sector, the kawadiwalas, scrappers. It's not any box which is being, put on something. They will put it only in the box. Even if once you throw your phone, you don't know where your battery is going, right? Even customer don't know where the battery is going. Even the repairing center, that person don't know where these batteries need to be, used for. So that means that was the condition of the country. Even today date also, it's not much more organized, but we're trying to make it more organized so that this material can be sourced from different places easily. So that's something which was a challenge in the start.
When did you realize that doing both is not uh, the way to build it, manufacturing and recycling? Because you decided to focus on recycling at some point
Yeah.
of time. I want to understand that decision making which led to that focus. And I mean, it's good that you're focusing. I think as a small company, you should be focused on a narrow problem. But
Yeah.
what was the decision making behind that?
So I mean, it is a very funny story. I mean, it is not our decision. So we were running a company and we got exhausted with the money because it is a capex oriented business, right? You need a lot of capital for equipments to run the unit. It's not a virtual thing, right? You need to you should have a factory, you have people. So after around
And
1 year,
even your working capital requirement would be high, right? Because you have to pay
exactly,
upfront to the suppliers of
exactly. I mean,
raw
once we
material.
will complete our business, then I will explain that how working capital is very important in this business. So what did after 1 year we were exhausted, we were not having any money. So I mean, we got some Utkarsh was having some connect with the Hero Group itself. So he connected to one of the person who is holding the Hero Munjal family investment firm. So we got one meeting with them that okay now let's do a meeting for we want to listen. So it was the first pitch which we were trying to give to someone that okay we understand at that point what is the pitch. We were not knowing what is a good pitch or how to present that whole idea. So we were there in Delhi, Hero Munjar family office, which is called Sarvan Partners, and Akshay Munjal is handling that whole domain. And we started giving the presentation that he said, "What the business you are doing?" We said that we are building the batteries and we are doing the recycling. So we thought that it's a good thing that he will think about, okay, you are doing good business because you are in two domains. He listened the whole story and he said that your founders are good, but you have to choose one. Otherwise, go. Just right now, you just leave. Okay. So I mean, there, there was not an option of thinking about anything because you have to give the answer at there itself. So he actually, he was having some idea because he was having good experience in the company because he has given a lot of investments. So he was having idea that recycling has a big perspective. So he said that see, according to me, recycling is the good opportunity in the future. But I am leaving on you. You have to choose one and tell me now.
Oh, this sounds like a Shark Tank episode.
So I mean, we said so at that point that was the time where you are like, just give me the money, whatever you will tell, we will do. That was the situation at that time, and Utkarsh said that. So I Utkarsh little discuss. We said, okay, just get the money, and then we will look what we'll have to do. Whatever he will say, we will do it. Just get the funding, in the company. And that was the time, and we got. I mean, we said, okay, yes, whatever you are telling, we will do it. And this is the business model. This is the working capital sheet which we will utilizing. This is the utilization sheet, and we have made some very basic, a presentation of funds utilization, the market size, and everything. So he was having very good belief on the founders. I mean, not on the other side. He said that okay, you are young and I am seeing a lot of potential, so I'm betting on you. So we got the first funding of 2.5 crores uh, in the first stage, and that was a turning point for us because if that was not happening at that time, or we were like, okay, we will not get the funding because the first step is very very high. I mean, to cross that first step, and you will not believe we have given around 100 or 200 pitches. Each and every person, the local state guy, the Lala guy, the angel investors, I mean, every person whom anyone is saying that, okay, explain your idea, we were trying to explain. So then we got an idea about that, okay, this is not going to work. I mean, you need some good connect. So, I mean, before this funding, there's a funny story that there is one person which is called GK Sinha. I mean, GK Sinha is living in Gurgaon. He was the ex PepsiCo head in Ireland. So, one guy has given the reference of us. So, we have, so he said that, okay, एक बार आप मिल लो. I mean, just you just meet him. So, we were like, okay, we will meet him. So, we were like, we were running out the funds. Okay, we will meet if he's saying this. So, very first meeting, we had a meeting of around half an hour. And at the same time, he has taken out the check and he written a check of 50 lakhs.
Wow.
At that time, there was no factories, there was no team, there was nothing. Only we were the two people, and even we were not having the presentation, we were just only telling the ideas. So this was the
Wow.
15 lakhs was the first funding we have, in form of. And then after that, in this round, I mean, you will not believe our professors has also put money in our company.
Wow. And Akshay Munjal also came in this round only.
Yes,
Hero.
Okay. Yes.
Oh,
In that same
okay.
round, one of the professor put his own money, and there are some other small individuals, which has led this round. I mean, there were around 11 to 12, angel investors who invested. Our total check size was 2.5 crores. The valuation was 5.5 crores, which was pretty money. So that was the valuation which we did on the first round.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So then what? Like once you and very quickly help me understand the investors' calculation for battery recycling as a business model, because investor would have mentally got some calculation, especially someone like Akshay Munjal, that in a battery recycling business, this is your input cost, this is what it costs you to convert, and then you sell, and this is the margin that you're left with. So at scale, it is a good business, so I will invest. वो investor mindset क्या रहा होगा for battery recycling business?
I mean, the investor mindset were two things. One is the margin, the good margin, and second is the
Just
future
help me
scale.
understand the margin profile. What is the margin profile here? Like
At
how?
that time, the battery cost was around 30 rupees. Okay.
Okay.
And the processing cost was around maybe 30 to 35 rupees again. And we were able to sell the material with 200 rupees.
Wow. Okay.
That was the
Massive
time
margin.
where the margins was very high, but because the
Okay.
players was not. But today, I mean, the market has changed to around 30 35%.
Okay. 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 That's a massive margin. Okay. Uh, Understood. Okay. So you were
So
saying
I
there were
mean,
two reasons for investors. One is margin profile. What's the other?
second was the scale of the business. I mean, everyone knows because of the EVs, the
Actually, no,
battery
TAM,
volume.
total addressable market
I
is
mean,
very
one is
large.
called the market size, which was around one. And at that point of time, the market size was around $3.4 billion, and the total addressable market was around 300 billions US dollar USD. And then the serviceable market was very small. It is below 100 million. It is because that uh, market was very huge. Batteries are lying down everywhere, but how you will get the batteries to a factory? So, what is the business which you can do actually? That was the main question mark, because uh, collection of these batteries from the whole country is a real challenging task. And that time, collecting that whole volume and getting out of the factory with good logistics, and there is a lot of the collection partners you will be needing, then good logistics, good safety standards, and then good processing also you will be involved to do that. So I mean, the investors' good point was that, and even what they have done is because our benchmarking companies was very. It was a $1 billion company. So there's two companies at that particular time. One was the Life Cycle, which is based out at North America, in Canada. Okay, in Canada, there's a company called Life Cycle, which I mean, the company there's an Indian guy who runs the company, and that company is listed in Nasdaq in in just 3 years of operations in the same business. Second company, which is called Redwood Materials. So this company is founded by the Tesla co-founder, which is called JB Straubel. So actually, the Tesla co-founder was JB Straubel, and then Elon Musk invested into that company and then became co-founder. So that co-founder has into this business, and they has got a $1.2 billion of loan from US government into the same business. because everyone wants this material. This is like a new fuel. This is called a new gasoline. So you have to preserve it. So government's part is to preserve these materials in the country because ultimately you are importing these materials once you are paying for it, right? There is a foreign reserve which is going to import the batteries. So now they believe that this materials is lying down in your country. It should not go out again. So the America, I mean US is already having the policies, the battery recycling. I mean lithium and battery recycling is one of the major aspects. This physically in their budget. So I
Okay,
mean
okay,
that
understood.
benchmarking was a big issue. Second is there was no competitor, so we were the early
So
mover,
you
advantage.
you had like Loham as a competitor. Plus, I think there's this company called Atero.
So see, at that time everyone was on the research scale. No one has come
Oh,
to the commercialization scale, right?
but
They were
Atero is always
considered as
recycling, right?
Ataro is into the before they were into the e-waste recycling, the electronic
Acha,
circuit board,
e-waste.
your
Okay,
TV, your
okay.
laptop, and mobile phone circuit board.
Hmm.
And then they have shifted towards the one domain, which is lithium and battery recycling also.
Okay,
But
okay, okay,
before
okay.
2021 or 22,
Hmm. Hmm.
no one was onto the commercial scale.
Okay, okay, okay.
So for example, if
Plus
you have
more
certain
advantage.
batteries with you, if you have 1 ton of battery, if you say that you can, no one will take that batteries.
Hmm.
So everyone was into the pilot scale or into the research scale. So I mean that was like you can say there's no player which is into the competition landscape.
Okay, okay. Interesting. Hmm. So, how did you scale up supply? So, from what I understand, this business is not a business where you have to fight for demand. Demand here, you have to fight for supply. Am I right in that?
Yes. I mean, before that, we need to understand that building the capacities is not that much easy. I mean, once we stepped out from the college, we opened the first factory, which was around 20,000 square feet. So to open this kind of factory, it comes
This
under
factory
hazardous.
after the fundraise or before fundraise? 20,000 square
It was
feet.
after the fundraise.
Okay. Hmm.
So there was a first condition, which was like you need a red zone area. So there are certain areas defined like green zone where you cannot set up the factory, then the orange zone where you can only set up the factory which don't have any emissions or any hazardousness, right? And there is a red zone, so which where you can do some chemical activities. So we were in Gurgaon at that particular time, but we were thinking about where we have to go. So we have get out the whole, list that in the country, what are the, I mean, nearby Haryana, because the choice of Haryana, Rajasthan, and UP. And we belong to the UP, so we were more comfortable about in the UP country, state, because we were like feeling, you can say that, okay, we can have certain connections in the politics to have some certification or something. So that was the idea. And I mean, there was only three choices. One was the Bhiwadi, which is in Rajasthan, which comes under red zone. Second is Ghaziabad, uh, which comes under red zone. Third is in Secunderabad industrial area next to Greater Noida. So we have to choose from these three locations that which place we have to go. And then we, according to the, we roamed around a month. I, of course, with the car. We actually given each and every street of these locations, that how that is being there, what is that, how what kind of area is being there, how people are, what is the people availability is being there or not. And then we selected the Secunderabad industrial area, which is next to Greater Noida, which comes under Bulandshahr jurisdiction. We selected a 20,000 square feet a built factory, which already shed is being there. And then we invested around 1.5 crores in the capex out of the 2.5 crores. And we built our whole plant ourselves. We designed the plant. Uh, so, I mean, just to have a broad process, battery recycling is having two processes. One is the mechanical processing. That means once you bring out the battery, this battery contains a lot of charge, because once you throw the battery, it may be charged condition. So you cannot process these batteries in the charged state. You have to discharge the battery, I mean, utilize the charge from these batteries before going into the recycle. So the first stage is we have the mechanism where we dip this battery into a solution, a large tank, and then we put these batteries for 24 hours or more than hours to discharge into a liquid media. and then we take out that batteries and then we put into the mechanical process design. That means you crush the battery, you dismantle the battery, and there's a crusher which is like mixer, and mixer, or you can say there's a blades, right? So that tears off
It
the battery.
shreds it, and
It's
okay.
it's called shredding. It's called crushing. It's called milling. It's called airflow suppressor. There's around 10 to 11 processes where the battery had to
Mm,
pass through. So,
mm.
which is called physical processing. That means actually you are not using any chemicals. By doing physical machines, you are separating your materials like cathode and anode materials. So, cathode and anode materials are like mixed of lithium, cobalt, nickel, manganese. So,
What does it
when you
mean,
mix,
cathode anode? What does?
uh, when this battery is being built, so you use lithium, nickel, and cobalt, right? But these are not in individual form. This is like you mix these materials together in a compound form, which is called cathode material. So for any battery to work, you have three things. One is anode, one is cathode, and in between you have a separator. So once you
So a
charge,
cathode is like a sheet of metal, which can, and that
exactly.
sheet is a mix. Is a compound
I
of
mean,
these.
it's not cheap. That's it's like you have a copper film, a small, a very thin sheet, and then
Mm.
you mix that material with some liquid, like to make a viscous, and then you coat that sheet with that material. This is called
Okay.
cathode,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
and then you roll it
And
into a cell form.
what is anode?
So anode is like exactly the same thing, but there is no mineral. There is only graphite
Okay.
coated onto the aluminum foil. So the
Okay.
aluminum foil, you coat the graphite, then separator, and then this cathode, and then you roll it
And
into a form.
what is a separator? Separator is a liquid medium.
No, separator is a polyethylene film. It's a plastic which
Okay.
only allows lithium to pass, or no other thing will
Okay.
pass from that plastic. Only lithium
Okay.
ion will pass from the plastic. So once you
Okay.
put your phone on charging, so do you know what happens? So
No.
when you put your phone on charging, billions of ions come out from anode, cathode. They travel through the separator and they sit into the anode position. So you have a lot of billions of chairs and you have billions of people.
The anode is getting magnetized and attracting the lithium because of the charge which is coming in. Something like
Yeah, you
that.
can say like that. It's like
Okay.
when you put the electricity, there's a potential, right? So because of the potential difference, the ion excites because
Mm.
of that ion. So you can understand you have billions of chairs and billions of people. So when you put phone on charging, the billions of people are trying to sit and occupy the chairs. And when
Okay.
you
Nice.
and
That's a
when you
nice
when you
analogy.
when and when you discharge the battery, when you use your phone, again those people who are sitting, they're going back to the another side. And that happens every time. Every time the people sit. So why battery heating takes place? So you will see that uh, billions of people are colliding each other to occupy the same place. Right. So there is a
Okay.
heating, there is
Some
heating
are
which is
leaving,
happening.
some are coming, and they collide with each
Exactly,
other.
exactly. They
Okay.
collide with each other.
Okay.
So you can say
Okay.
that is
Understood.
called the heating effect.
Mm. Mm.
That's the simple funda of utilizing it. And
Mm.
once we will have time, I'll also tell you that how lithium-ion cells has been started, who has started, and is it accidentally the cell has been innovated or came into the market because Sony introduced it. So later on we will
You
have some.
Nini, tell us now only. This is interesting. I want to hear it now.
Okay. So in 1990, you have seen the tape recorders which we are having small films, right? The
Yes.
roll.
Yes. Yes. The
So
old cassette tapes. Huh.
old cassette tapes. So the companies which we were having a lot of investments in those old cassette tapes, and they were having like Korean company was the Sony was the first company to launch that, right? And what happened in 1993, 1994, uh, the new HDDs, hard disk, the pen drives, the CD disk, the CD-ROM was
Yeah. The
introduced in
storage
this.
media changed. Oh.
Yeah, that changed. So these companies were having lot of investments, a lot of capex, a lot of infrastructure is being made. What they will do with that? So, I mean, this company Sony has one of the guys from Sony thought that I mean, the cell manufacturing as a lithium-ion cell can also be manufactured in the same way where the film is being manufactured, right? He thought that I can use these machines to make something like which is called lithium-ion battery because there also coating is required in a film, and that also the coating is being required in a film, right? So that was a very interesting turnaround time in 1992, and then into 1990, then in 2001, it became commercialized in terms of the portable electronics. So that was the turning point. So the Sony kind of companies, what they did is they transformed their old companies, which were manufacturing these tapes, into the cell manufacturing.
Okay,
And
interesting.
that was the need because of the need. And this accidentally, this battery has been, started into the commercializing stage because
Hmm.
the era that was going and the era of lithium has been coming and they have been synced together. So
Okay,
that's
fascinating.
how the
Hmm.
start of, the lithium battery has been started. I
Hmm.
mean, I heard this story from one of the Korean guys because I was in Korea a few time back. He was telling me that company is 40 years old. So he was telling, because that person is around maybe 85. He was telling that story because he had seen that. And he told a lot of things that how this has been commercialized with different companies and how this shaped the portable electronic industry, especially the mobile phones.
So
Initially, they were
coming back to the recycling process, you shred, and what happens then? It becomes like a powdery substance, or what? How finely is it
uh,
shredded? And
yeah. So in that plant, you crush the battery to small pieces, okay, which is called shredding, and you have some hammer milling and some other operations. So you get out the powder material by doing vibro separation. It's a sieve. You sieve the very tiny material below 60 mess. This is called cathode and anode material mixed together. This is called black mass. So it is termed as a black mass, but it is looking like a black color, black powder.
Hmm.
So I mean, slowly it termed as a black mass, and now this black mass has become a commodity product with the name of the black mass.
Okay.
Okay. So one product is your black mass, that is the cathode and material mix. This is called black powder. And remaining is your packaging material like casing of the battery, the copper, aluminum, and steel at a different place. And then second step is the chemical process. Then you take that whole powder into a chemical process and you do some chemical processing, mixing with some chemicals like leaching, like solvent extraction, doing some electrochemical processes, doing some hydrometallurgical processes. It's a long process containing 157 processes. So the process time is around 20 to 24 hours. When you put your black mass, that material, into the chemical plant, it takes 20 hours to extract that material at the end stage, like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. I mean, that's the complicated process which we have one as a mechanical processing and one as a hydrometallurgical processing.
This
That
black
process is
mass
separate.
also includes aluminium, PVC, and all of that.
No, no. So we consider aluminium, copper, and PVC as an impurity into the black mass.
And how do you separate them from the black mass?
So, one example, once you shred the battery, you cut the battery like scissors. This is called shredder. After
Okay.
shredder, this battery goes to a special type, special design crusher, which only scratch that material which has been coated before. It will not
Okay.
actually tear up crush that whole material. Otherwise, the whole material will
Okay.
be waste.
Okay.
And then you
Okay.
use airflow mechanism, which is called density separation, where you because of the low pressure, you get out your plastic and everything with the airflow because
Okay.
powder is heavy, right? So you separate the
Hmm.
plastic in the first stage. Second
Okay.
stage, you sieve out your the black mass. That means on a very fine mess, very fine, a very fine sieve. It is like the sieve size will be around equal to your home sieve, right? Where you're sieving your floor, right? So that is exactly sieving method which is being used in a larger machines. And then
Hmm.
third process is where you are segregating your copper and aluminum also using density separation because this is density separation. So you use your separation method using eddy current separator or different technologies being used to separate these materials way out. So we sell that.
How does density separation happen? Just a little bit, if you can talk on it.
So density separation is like, have you seen that in your old homes you have some soup kind of thing you're doing like this, and then lighter materials comes to
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
boundary of that, right?
Yes,
It is
yes, yes,
because
yes.
the lighter materials, so there is a difference between density in copper and aluminum. Copper is more heavy than aluminum, right?
Mm.
So once you're putting some pressure and making your material vibrate it,
What you
because of
do
the
with the
vibration,
gyoho, na, that the for
it's the same
separating
process, but now it is happening into the
the
machine.
wheat
It's
from the chaff.
controlled. Yes, yes, yes. So you're segregating the chef from the the wheat, right? So it's exactly the same
Okay.
process, but now converted into the machines. So you can
Okay.
say the
Interesting.
aluminum is like chef and copper is like wheat
Okay.
because of
Okay.
doing that mechanism, and you can separate that material. So we sell
Okay.
that copper, aluminum, and plastic in a local market, and we started this. So before we were not having a chemical plant because the research was not completed. So we were exporting this black material, which we call black mass.
Okay.
So in the year one, we exported around, you can say, around 250 to 300 metric tons of the black mass from our country. So
And
we
how much
were
do you earn per ton?
that time, but then the pricing was $10 per kg. So you can say 1,000, $10,000 per ton.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
we were shipping 20 tons of containers, one container or one shipping.
Hmm.
And you will not believe we have learned everything. My team, I mean, our people are so energetic, so passionate that we were not knowing that how to export the material. Even we were not knowing how export works. So we were having interns and they figured out very good way. They maintained, they researched, and I mean, they done a very wonderful job as a fresher, uh, handling everything by the how to export will work, what is certification, licensing. Uh, you will be needing to export that material because there is no HSN code which has been built of this material. This material is very new, right? So very first year with the 8 months of operation, I mean in 2021 August we got the first funding. In March we closed the balance sheet of 24 crores with EBITDA positive of 2%.
Amazing.
So
Okay.
So you can relate that how our team has worked. I mean, it looks so simple, but you have to really work around 18, 19 hours to build your factories, to run the
Hmm.
operations because there's a lot of problems in terms of safety, the fire, the regulations, and even once you sourcing of the material is very important. And the logistic, given the logistic, for example, my material is coming from Chennai. It might take that material can catch fire in between, so you need to take care of the whole SOP. I mean, our team is 90% people are more young, below 30. Uh, I mean, they're more energetic because you will not find the uh, experienced person because there is no industry which has been evolved, right?
Yeah.
So you have
Yeah.
to train them. They will learn into this ecosystem. And in our company, the good thing is that we have not made a culture of 9 to 5 job. I learned from Japan that the outcome is very important rather than the time outcome, right? Because one place we were having the R&D, second is the production, third is the testing machinery because this material testing unit is also we have to run to know what is being contained in these materials. For example, into when we started the company, even any of the company was not knowing that what is the material inside the battery. For example, do you know what is the lithium percentage in your phone? You don't know. You just
No.
only know this is a 5,000 mAh of battery and it will give you the backup of 8 hours. Same is happening to the company also. Even maybe the Samsung, Nokia, they don't know what is the percentage of cobalt and composition. So for me, it is very difficult to know. You have variety of batteries, variety of sizes, variety of cell form factors, variety of geometry, variety of chemical composition. I mean, under lithium-ion batteries, lithium cobalt oxide, lithium nickel oxide. So in simple terms, you can understand the companies are mixing this cobalt, nickel, and lithium in their own chemistry. In some batteries, you will get 30% cobalt, 10% nickel, 5% lithium. In some other company or some other phone model, you will get reverse. The nickel is 30%, the cobalt is only 5%, the lithium maybe 3%. And you are going to earn the money not with the battery volume. You're going to earn the material which is there inside the batteries, which is very hidden. And that material looks like a black color kind of coal. So you need to understand that testing is very important. So then we set up a very good testing unit inside the facility. where we were doing the testing. So we have done around 2.5 to 3 lakhs of batteries. That what battery contains what. We have a data that Nokia phone, which was launched in maybe 2000. We know what is the cobalt content now.
Wow.
We have a full spectrum. And then what we done is we got a good team of supply chain. We mapped on the map that in from Jammu Kashmir, every state, what is the volume of battery which has been, what is the volume of phone which has been which has been sold, what is the volume of vehicles which has sold, and then we mapped the pin that where are the maximum scrap lying down. And that's where you have to work very closely as a deploying a team because you don't have the money to just invest into the supply chain, putting other people over there, right? I mean, that was a very good activity which we have done
How do you
because
how do you deploy your team for sourcing? Is it like one team goes from one state to another state, or you deploy people for each state?
I mean, in the starting, we were the only people going every state, just talking to the scrappers actually, because maximum of the material lying down in the scrappers, and because you cannot pick your material by your own, you have to utilize the scrappers to source the material because Kawadi wala has
So
to pick the
this
material.
there's a value chain here also. Like one is you have that local kawadi who's going around in a cycle and collecting. Then he sells it to a local shop. Then that shop further sells it to someone bigger, right? Like an
So there's a
aggregator.
long chain. I mean, there is a very long chain. So once the Kawadi wala picks the battery in any landfill or maybe there any house, that person will go to the local shop where they have a small shop for the scrap. So he will collect iron also. He will collect glass also. He will collect aluminum also. He will collect battery also together. So that shop wala, what we will do is we will segregate the batteries alone, and then he will sell the batteries to a aggregator in the state, and I mean, which will only collecting the batteries, and then that battery comes to Delhi. And Delhi, there are big scrappers coming out, so they have a very long chain. So if you want to source the material, I have to talk to that big scrapper. That will he will not give material to me.
Why?
It is
You're
because
too
that
small, is it? Yeah.
no, it's not about small. It's about uh, there is one community which runs this whole business. So they're interconnected by
Okay.
relations or maybe, that's a long 30, 40 years business which they are doing. So they have a very good hold on this. And I cannot go everywhere and source because he knows that today I'm going to source the material with him, but tomorrow I may be lost because you don't know me personally. So you want to connect always the chain with him, right? And you will, I mean, there's a one fact which is something like the whole country's scrap comes to Delhi.
Oh wow. Okay. You're
Yeah,
talking the
any
battery scrap.
country, yes, any scrap
Any scrap.
except
Okay.
except plastic. I mean, valuable scrap like copper, aluminum, iron, steel, some other materials, except
So
plastic.
then
Maybe
why do you need to go state by state? Can't you just buy it from the Delhi aggregators?
that's where I mean, see now what happened. We started buying with the daily aggregators, and they started increasing the pricing. Initially, the battery pricing was 30 rupees. In 2020, the pricing was 405 rupees per
Okay.
kg of battery.
Okay.
So then we realized that because the market is too small at the moment, you need to control them. And to control them, you need to cut the supply chain. And you have to put some money on supply chain, that is called market acquisition cost, CAC.
Right.
So that is something we thought that let's build our collection partners every state and make them funded. They will having the advance money. So what we were doing is we were giving that some advance money to everyone that you collect material with us. So now they got some boost. For example, if I ask you a question that why a guy in outside this liquor shops getting up this, the glass bottles, there should be some motivation. Who has created that motivation to lift that bottle from there? So this is a very strong supply chain understanding. You cannot work from the ground. You have to use the same supply chain. That same guy who is lifting the bottles will lift the battery too. But you have to
Right.
give them some motivation. And motivation is the money that you have to give to them. So once money is floating for some material, they will understand this material is valuable. I need to pick it up. Initially, they were like, okay, this has no value. Why should I care? So once you make the material valuable, uh, the supply chain automatically starts working on it. You don't have to do anything else. I mean, automatically,
So
if you're making the
by
money.
removing the middleman, you could offer a better price to the state
Yes.
aggregators
So
and
around
get more.
20% less pricing, you can source the material 20% less pricing with
Mm,
that. Second is you can control the feed also, the quality also, you can segregate over there. I mean,
mm,
and second, you can also increase the volume because here I have to dependent on these aggregators to run my plant, right? And so I need a very large network to source the material and to run my plant smoothly because most of the waste management companies, I believe, the major backbone is the supply chain.
right.
Plant is not the backbone. Technology is not the backbone, which we release now. We realize that plant once you have built, it will need a constant feed. So
Mm.
that means the backbone and the strength of the company is the supply chain network, which is called backward supply chain.
So you've heard of this company called Recycle, where this is RECYKAL.
I know them. We take the batteries from them.
So Recycle is a digital aggregator, like they
Yes,
are.
yes, yes. They collect the batteries digitally. I mean, so there are two terms. One is called producer responsible organization (PRO). Second is called you can say the reverse logistic channel partners. So the company like ReCity, if you heard about ReCity, it's a
No,
big firm. I mean, if you have the company like you can say Sambhav Karo,
I haven't heard of
the
this.
companies like
These
SAS
are
Zero Waste.
producer responsible, PRO,
So
what you were
what
saying,
they do
producer
is they are a
responsible
PRO.
organization.
So what they do
Okay.
is they have a collection, very strong collection partners and the logistic companies. So they will collect for you the batteries for you. They are collecting plastic also from your homes, and they made this whole system more organized. Right? They will get everything, and they have a warehouse where the segregation will happen, and then they have a segregated material in a very organized way.
Okay. But their
So
last mile would still be the Kabadi wala.
yes, yes. So I
Okay.
mean, Kabadi Wala also. I mean, but the Kabadi Wala there, he's selling the material. From there, they work out
Right.
collecting
Got
the
it.
material
Okay.
from there.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So we are tied up with them to collect these batteries from
Mm.
Pan India.
And why are they
Still,
called PRO, producer responsible organization? What does that mean? It's a
so
weird term.
have you heard about the term called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility? It's a very
Which
common
is
term now.
it's a government mandate that if you are creating waste, then you have to collect it.
Yes, yes, yes. So
Mm.
in battery also it is being enforced now.
Okay.
So now, for an
So, like
example,
Samsung has an obligation. There's a government mandate that Samsung has an obligation that if Samsung is selling 1 lakh mobile phones in a year, then it has to collect batteries or the waste that would have been generated by selling 1 lakh mobiles in a year as their collection
yes, yes,
obligation
is
or
exactly same
recycling
thing.
obligation.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now,
So
where
Samsung would
Samsung,
work with these PROs
because
to
Samsung
achieve their
cannot
target.
source the material, right? You should know that
Right.
Samsung cannot source the material because he will not go everywhere and well, my
Hmm.
phone is being lying down, right? So
Hmm.
they need
Hmm.
these channel partners to collect these, their stuff,
Okay.
and then that material comes to recycle. So
Hmm.
we issue a certificate which is called a recycling certificate.
Okay.
So
And
we
that
got
certificate is provided to Samsung, which Samsung can use for their compliance.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
because of that enforceability, which came in 2022 for batteries also, now this sector has become a very pace because electric vehicles got a mandate, more phone companies got a mandate. So now it's their responsibility also, they're recycling their stuffs.
Hmm. So that would reduce your cost because Samsung will also be
Absolutely.
bearing some of the costs. So
Absolutely.
these
Absolutely.
PROs have, like for a PRO, there are two sources of income. One is selling the material to you, and second is selling a certificate to Samsung. So to Samsung,
I
they're
mean,
providing a.
they will not send the certificate. Certificate will be issued by us to Samsung directly.
As in, this PRO is enabling Samsung to meet the compliance requirements, so they would charge something from Samsung for
Exactly. They will charge inter
right.
between, I mean,
Okay,
to
okay,
that. So
okay.
that's how they
And
get
they
the
will
money.
earn from you purely from the material sale.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, yes, yes.
okay,
That's correct.
okay,
That's
okay. Are these very profitable businesses? These PROs?
not really. I mean, because there's some lot of documentation, a lot of things to maintain. So I mean, you can say it's a average, not less, not more. It's on an average, margins which they have, and you have to
Okay.
really work hard to have a good connect with the company, good regulations. You need to comply with the regulations and everything. So I mean, that's kind of a CSR program.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, understood. Okay, okay. So the other you said is reverse logistics organizations.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So first thing is that once you buy anything, so the thing is being transported by truck from the factory, and then it will distributed by small, then there is a last mile delivery, right? But here it's a reverse. I mean, there's a product which is being used, so it will be picked with the small vehicle, then go for the larger vehicle, which is exactly reverse in the product case. That's why it's just got reverse logistic. The logistic is working in the reverse form to reach the material from small organizations to big, like 16, then 8, then maybe 2, then 1. So that's how the material is being supplied.
And is this a business of picking up scrap from businesses, like a company scrapping their old laptops, or is it also from individuals? Like if I trade in my old phone to buy a new phone, then that old phone which I've traded in
I mean, that is
is
the thing which has been done by Cashify. Cashify is doing the same thing, right?
Hmm.
You take the phone. So we have maybe, for example, the recyclers make a what we call partnership with these Cashify and certain kind of companies, and we source the material with the Cashify. Maybe they have their own replacement or something they will do because we need a battery.
Right. Okay. So whom do these reverse logistics companies work with? Like whom do they collect from? Do they collect from
Repairing
offices, like an
centers,
office?
repairing
Sorry,
centers, especially repairing
repairing
centers.
centers. Okay.
These materials are also being there in service centers
Hmm.
for ESS. These batteries are also collected from telecom sector, which they use into the telecom towers. I
Hmm.
mean, if you see the utilization, it's a portable electronics, mobile phone, laptop, then power storage, power banks,
Hmm.
telecom
Hmm.
sector, EVs, and now the batteries are also started into the home inverter applications. So now it's a
Okay.
wide portfolio of these batteries.
Lithium-ion batteries are used for inverters.
Now, yeah, it started.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Understood. And these reverse logistics businesses, do they provide the working capital? Like, will they pay the seller upfront, or they're just providing logistics and you're responsible for the working capital?
We are responsible for the working capital. I mean, we are the ones which are responsible for floating the money because
Okay.
you have to initiate the whole thing. So I have to pay upfront, but when I sell the material, my payment is coming in next 45 days. So the working capital cycle is around 45 to 60 days. So that's a challenge because that's a working capital uh, uh, a game. I mean, if you want to do more revenue, more profits, you should have a very good working capital from the back, right? That is something which is still we are solving using we are now got some lines from some banks which are big check size. They are also getting some debt to just utilize into the working capital cycle. We got some LCs also to export our material. So now our thought process is that
LC is a letter of credit, which is
letter of credit
basically against export. You get
against
it's like a
exports. Yes,
invoice discounting
yeah, it's an
mechanism.
invoice discount. So there's some margin, and in that margin you give that small margin to someone else, and they
Yeah,
fund that whole
give you the money
investment.
upfront.
Yes.
Okay. Understood. Have you raised venture debt?
Yeah, I mean, not really high. I mean, we have only raised maybe 5 crores, not more than that. We have raised debt from the Exim Bank.
Okay, because you're exporting, right? Is that the cheapest
They,
source of debt for you, or
yes, absolutely.
okay?
I mean,
Because
very
there's
cheap.
some
It is, you can
government
say,
subsidy.
35% cheaper than the venture debt.
Ah, okay. Yeah, venture debt must be the costliest, and bank debt would be somewhere in the middle, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on
Okay.
your margin and I mean the cash in bank because
Hmm.
the cash in bank, the equity money versus your debt defines your because you should also have because we don't have initially we don't have hard assets, right? We're only
Hmm.
having soft assets like equity or shares, right?
Hmm.
So to
Right.
place that, so I mean that also affects your the interest rates
Hmm.
because it is ultimately security.
Right.
So I mean, there are a lot of things. We have now our own plants. So we have our hard assets also, soft assets also, some the future assets also, which we can have, blessing which we can do. I
Okay.
mean, now we believe that this business is only for the working capital issue. If you can solve working capital, I mean, you can scale as huge you can. I mean, equity money is for scaling it up, putting in the capital cost, which will ultimately also increase your assets and working capital lines. Once you will work more with closely with the banks, I mean, they will increase the lines for you because you're in the export, so they have a guarantee of the material which you export. I mean, you will believe that Exim Bank has also put equity money in the company.
Oh wow. Okay. Amazing. Uh,
So
so you started by exporting black mass. What do you export now?
now we are exporting nickel, cobalt, manganese, uh, lithium from our country. So
Okay. And
we have three factories now. One is where you have uh, black mass production, which is 20,000 square feet. Second factory is 1 lakh square feet, which is around 5 to 6 times per year from the initial factory, where we are building a chemical plant, a large chemical plant, which the capacity will be around, you can say 2,000 metric tons of black mass processing, refining every year. And then third factory is for the power electronics. So we are now entering into the power electronics again, which you were
what
talking
is
about in the
power
starting.
electronics?
I mean, building the batteries.
Okay. Okay. And what is the form factor? You're building batteries for like large size batteries or mobile
Large size
batteries or
batteries,
what?
which are ESS, energy storage packs. I mean, it will be the replacement of the charging stations, replacement of gensets. So you have a large genset. I mean, you can replace the genset
Inverter
with batteries.
use case.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes. Solar
Okay.
application, the large solar
Hmm.
applications will show the
Right.
energy into that. Will not be there into the EVs or maybe those batteries because why we have to open that because uh, in that the major problem is once you receive the batteries from four wheelers or bus or two wheelers, there are a lot of batteries or cells which are good condition. So why to recycle those batteries if they can still run for 3 to 4 years more, right? So our idea is to build these batteries again by taking the good cells out. The bad cells will go for the recycling, and we will utilize these cells and the battery energy to 3 to 4 years, where we have some, a revenue generation from that, and the value of the material will be same, like what today, tomorrow also. There is
Ah,
no
because
degradation. I mean,
right, there's no degree. Okay, okay, okay. Very interesting.
so
These batteries you're manufacturing, you're selling like energy as a service kind of a deal, or
energy
is
as
it
a
like
service, energy as a service.
what? So what does that mean?
Uh, So you can say that I cannot sell these batteries because ultimately I want to be a owner of the batteries because I need to take the batteries
Yes,
back also.
you want to own the asset. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Second is, which is very important that because these batteries are being already utilized, so I cannot claim an exact warranty.
Yes.
And right, because I don't know where the battery is coming from, how they have utilized it. So then in the technology what we have built, we can make an approximation that 300 cycles, 400 cycles, the battery can go more. But exactly when the battery fail, you don't know. So if it will be owning by us, there will be no problem of service sectors. I don't need to have a service, problem because service will be a very big issue, right? And because of the service, we don't want to take that problem with us, right? Secondly, we
So
don't want to play as
yeah.
a battery manufacturing brand.
Mm, okay. Okay. You like you create a like a the way there is say cloud where there is a rack of servers in a data center.
Exactly
So
same,
you do
exactly.
something like that,
Yes, yes. So
like
you
a
can say
energy
like
in a way.
you have a very big self-like thing, and then you put a lot of batteries as a data centers, which you have seen a lengthy one, and then you connect each one, and that battery is connected to servers also, where we have a trackage from here that how much energy we are releasing, how battery is performing, what is the state of health of the battery, and when the battery will come to the end of life. So from our center itself, we know every data about the battery. So there is asset finances because today the major problem is if you buy an electric car and you are giving a insurance also, you are taking the insurance of the car, right? But the insurance companies, if you have hit that car to anyone, I mean, if the battery is being, so 60% or 50% cost is of the battery.
Yes.
So it becomes a very problematic thing for the insurance companies that what will be the value I will get from the battery when I will sell. Because ultimately I'm giving the insurance for maybe 1.5 lakhs rupees or maybe 80,000 rupees for a normal average car. So what will be my recovery value? Because only one part contains 50% of the cost of the whole car. For example, Tata Nexon battery costs around 4.5 lakhs rupees to get a
Wow.
replacement.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
So until unless there will not be a good processes where I can say that, okay, I will take your battery with 1.5 to 2 lakhs back and I will giving you the new battery. So
Mm.
that can be only possible by doing recycling or utilizing that battery into the second life. So this battery manufacturing, there is a term called second life battery manufacturing.
Mm.
So there is a first
In
life,
which you
there is a second life, there is
you
a recycling.
yeah. Okay. So second life batteries are basically where you're taking the cells from existing batteries and the ones which are still good, you're reassembling them into a battery. And
Yeah.
these are deployed on client location. Like if there is a solar
Yes,
energy
yes, 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 absolutely.
plant, then whatever is the location of the solar energy plant, you'll deploy it there, and then you will charge them a like a monthly fees based on how many
Yes,
watts of storage,
yes, yes,
something
yes,
like
yes.
that.
So we will charge
Okay.
per unit, like which we
Per
charge
unit
in
of
our home. Right.
storage, like the storage capacity. Like if the capacity is 100 units, so you'll charge that.
So we'll charge a 100 unit into some, unit cost
Okay.
up to that.
Okay.
So there is a
Okay.
good
Okay.
business model which is coming up, which is called selling up the energy at peak time.
Ah, yes,
So,
yes, yes, yes. Load balancing.
so,
Hmm.
so for an example, what is happening today in solar, once you generate the energy, they only get around 2 to 2.5 rupees per unit. In today's time, the realization. Uh, that's why the problem is that the solar companies are not earning much, which is called net metering. You are sending that. For an example, at daytime, the load is less, the grid load is less. But at evening time, everyone will try to charge their car because you have seen that once we came home, we put the phone on charging. Everyone's it's like same mindset. So at same time, the people will come from EVs once the EVs volume will be high and they'll put every EV with the charging. So there will be unbalancing in the grid, which is happening now also. That means you will see that today also the companies or in our homes, we have a different tariff charges. In your home, when the electricity is calculated, it is not on the fixed rate. You will see when you receive the bill, in that bill, it is written that the evening time the charge is more, the daytime the charge is
Okay.
less.
Okay.
It
This
is
is implemented, is it? I was
it
not
is
aware
already
India has
being there from
implemented
I mean
this.
last
This
10 years,
dynamic
20 years.
pricing is there. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone, I mean,
Okay.
no one is trying to see the bill. Everyone's just, okay, this is the bill I need to sum, but this is the mechanism, that's how they follow.
Right. 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 Right.
So the big
Okay.
companies, I mean, which are utilizing maximum energy, they
This is
always see that
for residential also.
residential also. Residential also.
Okay. 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 Okay, interesting. So, for a solar power plant, if they are able to sell at a time when they're not generating, which means like
Yeah.
say evening hours, they're not generating energy, but if they have enough in the storage to sell at that time, they get paid a higher amount per unit.
Yes.
So
It's a
it
very good
improves
business
their
also.
profitability. Hmm.
Yes. So if they can earn 1 rupee per unit also, it's like or 1.5 rupees at that particular time. But still there is a challenge in terms of different states. They take some, royalty on that transport. For example, my solar is being planted in Rajasthan. I want to transport the electricity to Delhi. So I have to give some charges to Rajasthan government. So I mean that is being I mean in the policy, I mean this need to be implemented that how that whole common grid systems will work using solar to transport that energy. For example, if I have generating some electricity, I want to sell it. I can take to anywhere else with some certain discount.
Hmm.
That need to be there.
Right, right, right. Okay,
So I mean,
okay, okay.
it is like so. My perspective is in this. After 10 years, like Tesla Powerwall, if you heard about Tesla Powerwall. So from the second life, every home will have the Powerwall, and there will be a data center. So we know what person is using what percentage of energy, what is being stored. So, for example, 10,000 homes is having same battery. I know what home is using what kind of. So, I will sell that energy from your inverter itself, from your battery itself to anywhere else.
Wow,
So,
amazing,
that's the future
amazing.
thing, which
Like
I mean,
a
US,
distributed cloud. Yeah.
yeah, distributed cloud system. It's like data
Right.
centers. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. Very exciting. Uh, so you closed 20 CR in your first year, right?
24
Revenue
crores.
wise, 24 crores. So this last financial year, we just ended 31st March. How much did you close?
I mean, just we are not, I mean, it is somewhere around 50 crores, but still I cannot reveal the good number because still the balance sheet has to come. The provisionals has been made. So this year
Yeah, a
the business,
rough estimate. So roughly
yes,
like 50,
you can
55,
say,
something in that
yeah, yeah,
range.
yeah, you can say like that. This will be the
Okay.
range.
Okay.
This year the business is little bit streamlined because last year we were not knowing that how materials markets works. So there is a big, learning and segment which is on the market side. So these materials like lithium, nickel, and cobalt are a international commodity pricing, and where we sell the materials, these are being sold based on international commodity pricing, which is called spot pricing. Like London Metal Exchange is one of the domain. Second is fast markets. So these markets, based on these markets, you pay the pricing. So from last year, the pricing of the cobalt was, for example, $65. Today, the pricing is around $34.
Why is that? Why is the price falling?
It is,
I thought
it
this
is,
Ukraine war and all of this is causing
yeah,
shortage
it
of
affects,
materials and the price is going up. I mean, the
it is down.
the narrative which we are hearing is that there is inflation because of geopolitical tensions. So there is inflation and price rise. Why isn't that true for these commodity metals?
I mean, lithium also it is dropped from, you can say, $70 to $17.
Why is that? Why is it dropping?
See, nickel, cobalt, lithium, these three materials, neodymium also, these four materials if you take, 90% processing and hold of these materials is controlled by China in today's date. So what China
Right.
did is, for example, 80% of the world's lithium contains Chile, Argentina, and Australia.
Okay.
But the mining is being done by Chinese companies in these countries.
Okay.
For example,
Okay.
the cobalt is majorly found in Africa, which is called Congo. Okay,
Okay.
but the mining is being done by Chinese companies. Exactly same. This nickel is found in Indonesia, but the mining companies are being Chinese companies. So Chinese companies are maintaining the supply and demand. They control the pricing. And
I
even
think
today's,
China must be the biggest buyer also, right? Because all manufacturing happens in China, like smartphones and all are made there. So they must be the biggest buyer as well.
I mean, to tell you the number, there is only one company in China that produces 24 to 30% of battery for the whole world. One
Wow.
company, not only China.
Okay.
So in today's date, 84% of batteries is being built in China and they are exported to the whole world. I'm talking about the whole world. US is very far from this. Europe is like they are also on a nascent stage. Uh, the Asian countries like us or the nearby countries also to the same stage. China has very visionary company or the country which they have seen the vision 10 years back. So they know they have lost the war in gasoline and fossil fuels. So they got a new game of lithium because now lithium is a new fuel. So they have grabbed everything, whatever is being possible in this world. Every country, they have the mining companies to explore the material, and they have the best technology also. For example, we found the lithium in Jammu and Kashmir, but there's no Indian company which can mine the material from that with the lower cost. I mean, the costing should be based on commodity pricing. For example, if I'm getting the material in 100 rupees from China, I will get from China. Why I will extract the material in 150 rupees here?
Right, right, right. Yeah.
So when you have working with the minerals or the commodity materials, the commercialization is playing a very big impact into this. The unit economics, the the cost effectiveness. That is something which is very important. For example, in today's date, we take out the titanium from the country, send it to the China, and they refine it, send it to the back. So our
Wow.
country today's that is lacking in mineral refining. Very few companies that are into the mineral refining. I mean, hardly three or four in the country, and that's where we are lagging about the minerals. In terms of refining.
So are you saying that China is flooding the market and reducing the
Yes,
prices?
yes, yes. So what happened? Because of the increasing pricing last year, there was a burst of the pricing. pricing has reached to, 100% more than the last 5 years. So what China did, there's a company in China called CATL. They asked that I will not purchase any lithium beyond this pricing. And secondly, the new mines has been 17 new mines has been opened in this recent last 5 to 6 years. So mine takes around 6 to 8 years to develop themselves. So
Okay.
once the so that mine has been also opened, so there are a lot of supply of materials
Oversupply.
being there, but demand has been not being there. Second problem is that the demand of EV has been reduced down in recent 2 years. If you see the Korea, Japan, and other countries, the pace and the CAGR of the batteries which were projected to scale, that was not happen at that scale. India, it's much, much more better because the adoption of two-wheeler, three-wheelers is happening very rapidly. Right. And but in other countries, from last 1 year, the sales of EVs has been reduced down at some particular rate,
Hmm.
not at that
Well,
rate.
there were some early adopters who adopted, and now it is not going mainstream. Only those early adopters are using EVs. Whereas in
Yes,
India, there is a P&L reason. You will be more profitable if you do your last mile delivery through EVs.
yes, yes.
So that is driving EV adoption, the last mile delivery market in India.
Correct, correct, correct.
Okay.
In China,
Okay.
I have seen the maximum transformation. In every 10 car, I have seen 7 cars is electric, 7 car is electric.
Wow. Wow.
70% is being there. And they
Amazing.
have, for example, in terms of the cost, in 12 to 13 lakhs, you will get the EV car in China. But if you want to go purchase the gasoline car, it will cost you more than 20 lakhs. So they have made that provision and incentivize that thing that people
Subsidize.
are more toward, yeah, subsidized rates. So that's why anyway
Okay.
they have their own technologies also like Volvo, CATL, BYD. The giants of the world is being there. Tesla is also being there in China. They have their own plants.
Yeah,
So they have
I
a good
read
infrastructure.
recently that BYD
It's
beat
like
Tesla
70
in
million.
terms of
Yeah,
sales. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Mm. Okay,
So
interesting.
in
So,
India, yeah.
I want to kind of understand what's the roadmap for Batx. You must have got some internal milestones for the next couple of years. What are they?
I mean, uh, Today's scale is like uh, we raised the first funding, then we raised the second round. This is the third round, which did just recently of around $5-6 million as equity, and then around $5 million as a debt also. We have built 2 plants now. One plant of 2,000 metric tons per year of refining capacity is just we are building it, which will come by August. Uh, our target is by 2026, we want to build the capacities of 10,000 metric tons of battery processing every year. In 2030, we are planning to scale it up 50,000 metric tons of battery recycling everywhere. That's a pipeline we have set to next 7 to 8 years, till around 22, 32, 33. Along with that, we will also want to enter into the battery materials. For example, we have our own lithium, we have our own cobalt, we have our own nickel, right? We are already extracting. Today's date, there is no manufacturing company in India which manufactures the cell in India. They all import. So there is no
Is
consumption of the material,
Log9 is planning to
but
manufacture? I
not
don't
on
know
the
if they have
larger scale.
operationalized.
Actually,
Yeah, small scale, right? Hmm.
there is also, I want to tell you the process of cell building. So once you extract the material like lithium, cobalt, nickel, manganese, so there is a company called CAM manufacturer, which is called cathode active material. So this material will go to the CAM companies, which will again process it into the battery grade material, which is called cathode. And then the cathode will go to the cell manufacturing company. So even Log9 has to purchase the material from CAM companies.
Okay, so you want to be the CAM company also,
We
like
want to
next
become a
in the
CAM
roadmap.
company, and
Okay.
we want to place ourselves into a supply chain of battery grade materials to strengthen our India, a supply chain of the battery materials, because ultimately we will import. Even we will build the cells in India, we have to import the material. So according
So
to our estimation,
50,000 tons of recycling you want to do, does India produce that amount of batteries, or this will include imports also?
so today, yeah, definitely it will include some import, maybe 20%, not more than that.
Okay.
Today, I mean, India, according to the Niti Aayog report, if you go for the recent Niti Aayog report, 50,000 tons of waste we are generating every month, every year already.
Okay. Battery waste, you're saying, which you
So
can
today,
process.
I mean, today our capacity of the consumption of battery is around 13 to 15 gigawatt hour.
Mm.
In 2030, this capacity is going to increase 5 times.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because lithium is the new oil. So
Yeah,
absolutely, it's like
exactly.
this is wrong.
So now I want to tell you some facts and figures. So today, I mean, the value in 1 kg of battery is around 800 to 1000 rupees. So you can multiply by 50,000 into 1000, which will become a kg, into 1000.
Right. Okay. Okay.
That will be the revenue which should be at that particular time. Also, in today's date, that value of material is being lying down in the landfills. You can also say like that.
Mm. Right.
Right? So, I mean, it's a very big number.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
around
Yes. Absolutely.
5,000 crores.
Mm.
Today's date, the material is being lying down. It is not being explored
Mm.
in a form of the scrap.
Tell me something right now. How much of your revenue is from exports?
100%.
So why not supply in India? Oh, you're saying there is no battery manufacturer in
There
India,
is
so
no
India doesn't
consumption.
have a.
So now
Okay, there's
we
no
have
consumption.
started, I mean,
Okay.
we are building. So Ministry of Heavy Industries has given a grant of 6 crores to build a good ecosystem and a laboratory to research on nanomaterials, especially on the battery field.
Okay.
That is the one thing. Second thing is government is also supporting in a lot of other ways in terms of collaborating with good organizations like CSIR or other organizations. IT Delhi, we are impaneled. In IT Delhi, we are impaneled in DRIV. We are impaneled in FITT, which is for the startup. I mean, we are also doing research in IT Delhi. We are also doing research in Munjal University using some PhD holders. So nanomaterials and the battery field, the research is happening in the Munjal University laboratory, CMD laboratory. The power electronics research is being happening in collaboration with IT Delhi. I mean, you will see that our charging station is also installed in IT Delhi,
Okay.
which is purely off grid. I mean, that you can charge your vehicle just by solar. So solar is charging my old batteries, and from old battery you can charge your vehicle.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Your
So
energy cloud is deployed
energy
there,
cloud,
basically.
yeah, already it's
Got it.
being deployed there.
Mm.
Uh, I mean, my perspective is if you want to really build big, research, commercialization, infrastructure, regulations, government policies have to run parallelly. I mean, you cannot run with the alone systems. You have to take all these things together. And then, like Central Pollution Control Board should, I mean, they have already launched the good policies and, the bad management rules are like EPR and some other more
But
drafting they are doing.
tell me something. The like say an Exide, which is like a very large battery company. Why doesn't it start doing lithium-ion batteries?
So there, I mean, you can say that Exide is of, I mean, Amar Raja, right? So,
Okay, they're the same group.
right.
Okay,
So
got
the
it.
same group, I mean, and Log9, Maxim, I don't know. I mean, Log9 is having a
Log9 is their
partnership with,
portfolio company. They've invested in
yes,
Log9.
yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
okay, okay.
So
Understood.
the problem is today, if for example, big companies want to come into the lithium and battery industry, where they have margin, they don't have a margin. The margin is in the assembly, there is no margin. You don't have materials, you don't have a cam. So you will only have an option of assembling, which small player can also do, which they are doing, especially small startups. They are doing manufacturing the batteries.
Okay. There's no margin here. Okay, okay, okay.
Right.
Interesting, interesting. Okay,
So that's the
okay.
major problem.
Okay. My last question to you is around, you are both like young founders. You both started in your 20s. Uh,
Mhm.
what were the things that you wish you knew before starting out? As young founders, what are your top learnings that these are things which I will advise to other young founders, mistakes we made that you should avoid?
I mean, the first thing is that which you should avoid. That is something the whether whatever the domain you are choosing, okay, whatever the field, because the major problem when you think that I want to do these things, you need to also see the things with different person perspective. That is very much important. I mean, the major problem which I did, I mean, I did a lot of things that where I would not listen. I said, okay, I'm what I'm thinking it is right. You need to put yourself in other perspective always and think about them. That what he
That's true.
thinks
That's
about.
true. I think, especially, in terms of being able to look at your business from the lens of an investor is very, very hard for a young founder.
Exactly, exactly. Very true. Second
Yeah.
is always be practical. Don't be super stick. Uh, very, very practical. I mean, the life which we think is very different, and when you're going to go for the execution is very different. I mean, there should be a very less gap into these two things,
Hmm.
right? For example, what I did is I thought that I will build the cells, right? Accidentally, I landed in another thing. But for example, I was not even knowing about how it was being built. It's just technology enthusiast. Business and technology enthusiast is a very different thing.
Right, right, right.
I
You have to
mean,
be grounded in your commercialization,
I
basically.
mean, you cannot build the things which you want. You have to make the things which people want.
Right.
You can build rockets. It doesn't. No one needs it. Why you are building it?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
I'm giving in your phone. I'm giving a lot of features, and cost is like no one is able to afford. No one will
Hmm.
get to purchase this, despite you have made a lot of hard work.
Right.
So let's, for starters, make it very simple. From my perspective, whatever you're trying to do, I mean, whatever trying to have an idea, just be a practical and focus on execution.
Hmm.
Execution, execution, and execution. That is
Hmm.
something which I believe. Uh, and at last, I want to say that if you really believe in yourself, just keep doing things. Something will happen automatically. That is something which I'm saying, my little experience which I have done before. I never thought about building a large startup. It's being there. I mean, today we are landing around to 50 crores of valuation. Uh, I never thought about, that we will be in recycling space only. Pivoting can be there. So you can understand startups is not about the company. Startup is a mindset.
Right.
You have to get into that mindset so that you will be having a lot of perseverance. Otherwise, you will not be having a perseverance. You will be like a frustrated every time.
Hmm.
So
Right.
if you're trying to give 3 years without any profit, without any outcome, and you're having a mindset that in 3 years I just only want to explore. I mean, then only do the startup.
Hmm. 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 Right.
I mean, it's a learning. I have gone through it. The startup, I thought that okay, if I will not get anything also, then it's okay. I will have a learning.
Hmm.
Not much expectation.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
give your 100% what is. So then it becomes your passion. Once you become passion, you will work. You will not feel that I'm working. You will feel that I'm enjoying my own things.
Hmm.
We too, I mean, I could enjoy the startup rather than a work. So you will not believe this business is just so global. I mean, we travel, I mean, a lot of countries and with the government program. We traveled Paris with the government program, Korea with the government program, Singapore, FOP 30 and the 30, we were the part of FOP 30 and the 30 last year. So
Wow.
we were in Singapore and in Korea. I mean, you will see that there is good news which have good news about ourselves. It's printed in Korea.
Wow. Nice. Hmm.
So because our 100% exports is there, I mean, daily you will see some Korean guy, Japanese guys, visiting our facility.
Hmm.
So I mean, they have chosen that business where we don't believe this is a business. We really enjoy the things. Daily you have a new hustle. I mean, I cannot sit in my home on Sundays. It's a very
Yeah.
problematic
Amazing.
formula for me. I have to learn even now that how to get
Yeah.
sit on the Sundays.
I'm guessing you're probably not married yet, so you have the luxury
Absolutely,
of.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I
So,
passed out in 2019.
yeah. 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 Yeah.
And second thing is that I mean the distance of once you run the startup, first you believe that I will get the money and everything, but after some time, when we will become mature about the company, the responsibilities, because the major thing which I have a problem is that I have a lot of responsibility in the people. I have 100 plus people in the company which is working. So that is intriguing us to work more and more.
Mm.
I have, because I have a responsibility of these 100 families.
Yeah, they are relying on you. Yeah.
They're relying, and they have actually uh, trusted blindly when I was having nothing. So it's my time to give everything to them. And in my company, there's a very good freedom. I mean, it's a cultured company. We have made a culture in the starting. It's a product. I mean, it's not about 9 to 5. You do your job and get outcome, and that's it. That way, you evaluate it like that. And you have a free hand, but you are not like only do these things. If you have new ideas, we'll do a review meeting, sitting everyone there. It's like a new era of running a companies. Definitely, it will affect your the initial margins, because you will like, okay, only work, do the production. But later on, because this is a new field, you will see that a lot of potential in company, valuable things people will give. So, for an example, we don't deal with any of the consultants. We don't have any consultant in technology. We don't have consultants in the other side. In regulations, we do everything ourselves. So in the company, the employee should not feel that I have to go home by 5.
Mm.
So if the company time is 6, people will think they will start packing the bag at 5, and they will waiting for the time when I have to leave. If any employee is thinking like that, that means there is a problem. People, trust me, people also enjoy the company. If you have a
Yes.
good system, they don't want to go home.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Yeah, and especially if you have a very young workforce.
Exactly. You do a lot of things. I mean, technology guys like technology. You talk about technology, give them something which they liked about. I mean, they will love, like they, my R&D team in the starting, they were saying that I will work in the night shift also without any
Wow.
compulsion. So
Mm.
today's date, we didn't make any compulsion of, you do this thing. They itself are doing everything. I mean, my strength is Batx strength is team. The first thing is team. Second is technology. And third, the market and everything which you can say.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Vikrant. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.